You ever wonder why some simple stories just stick with you? Like for years. Well, today we're going to do something cool. We're going to take a modern Bengali fable about a family of ducks and just take it apart. We'll look at all the pieces to see how it builds suspense, how it makes you feel things, and what it's really trying to say. All right, let's get into it.
But let's start with a question, one that's right at the heart of this whole thing. What really makes a home feel safe? I mean, is it just the four walls? Is it where it's located? Or is it something else entirely? Just, keep that question in the back of your mind as we meet our little duck family.
Okay, so our story kicks off by introducing us to the main characters and their world. Let's meet Hassa and Hassi. They're a duck couple trying to carve out a life for themselves in a place you could only call a perilous paradise. Right off the bat, you get this amazing contrast. You're picturing this beautiful, lush jungle, right? But the story immediately tells us that Hassa is constantly thinking, at any moment a ferocious animal can come and attack. So there's this layer of tension baked in from the very first scene. Yeah, it's a beautiful home, but it is definitely not safe. So here's the family dynamic. You've got Hassa, the provider, who has to go out into all that danger. And then you have Hassi, the nurturer, protecting the future of their family. But look at what they both share. Constant, nagging worry. Hassi is even having nightmares about a giant beast eating her kids. This shared fear, that's the engine that really drives the beginning of this story. So let's see how the story starts to ramp up that fear, because the stakes, they're about to get so much higher. This is what we call the rising action, where something wonderful happens, which of course brings a whole new set of dangers. And there they are, 7 little eggs hatch, one by one. And for Hassa and Hassi, it's this moment of absolute joy. But for us, watching this whole thing unfold, we just know how fragile that happiness is. Because 7 new lives, that also means 7 new reasons to be terrified. And bam, just like that, the threat gets a voice. This quote is so chilling because it's not the narrator saying, "Watch out." We are literally hearing the predators themselves. The most innocent sound in the world, the chirping of baby ducklings, is like a dinner bell, leading the fox and the tiger straight to them. The tension just goes through the roof. So you have to get this. They're living in a state of constant anxiety. Every single decision they make is filtered through this lens of fear. Hassa literally scans the entire area before he goes home. Hassi won't let her kids play outside because of the dangers lurking everywhere. It's a life lived on pins and needles. And this timeline just perfectly shows how a few small, totally understandable choices lead to a catastrophe. Hassi is worried about her husband, so she leaves the kids, telling them to be quiet. But, they're babies. They get hungry, they start crying. And that one little sound brings a new player into the game. This old woman, who just walks up and scoops them all into a cage. And that right there brings us to the climax. Everything has been building to this moment. The parents are frantic, the predators are circling, and the kids are just gone. I mean, just look at their options. They have nothing. They're totally powerless. They even try to appeal to the Lion King, the ruler of the jungle. But he just dismisses them because they're not official residents. In fact, he actually tells the tiger and fox, "Take these 2 ducks and do whatever you wish with them." Can you believe that? It's a total failure of justice. And here comes the twist. It's incredible. Just as the tiger and fox are about to pounce, who shows up? The old woman, the kidnapper. She uses some kind of magic bomb to scare the predators away. And for 1 second you think, wow, she's a hero. But then, nope, she just grabs the shocked parents and throws them in the cage too. This just says it all, doesn't it? Reunited in a cage. Inside, they find their kids and they're alive. Imagine the feeling, just this wave of overwhelming relief. But then, in that exact same breath, the horror sinks in. They're all prisoners, together. Joy and absolute terror, all at once. So after a climax like that, where do you even go? Well, we move into what's called the falling action. This is where the family has to figure out how to get out of this new and seemingly impossible mess. And the old woman, without even knowing it, gives them exactly what they need, a deadline. By saying she's going to sell the parents at the market, she basically lights a fire under them. Now they know they've got one night, just one night to save everyone. And this is the moment they finally get to fight back. After being victims this whole time, they finally take control. The story describes them all working together, chipping away at the cage with their beaks until they finally break free. It's such a powerful image of family and pure, stubborn determination. So they escape, and that brings us to the end of the story, the resolution. But they don't just go back home. Oh no. This journey has changed them, and it's taught them and us some really important things. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, the fable shows us the world is messy, right? Danger can hide in beautiful places, and a savior can also be a jailer. It shows us that your family can give you incredible strength. But for me, the most important lesson is that last one. They don't go back to that perilous paradise. They find a new home, a safe one. They finally get it. A true home isn't just a place. It's a place where you're safe. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. I mean, this was a simple little story about ducks, but it tackled these huge ideas of fear, family, justice, and what home even means. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our own complicated world, what simple, essential truths are we